Hello again, everyone. It's me, Johnny. I want to thank you for checking out my channel. And today I want to talk to you about a life thriver versus a cancer survivor. And a conversation came up with some people, and it's that time of the month, October, where people are running around with the pink ribbon. Have nothing against it. It's just not for me, or in the cause of what they believe in. I'm really not a fan of it. But I'm not against anyone who supports it or whatever they believe. I know for me, I don't like to be referred to as a cancer survivor, because the word survivor means that you're still struggling with it. Let's say you fall through the ice, okay? Cold winter day, you're on a pond or something, and you fall through, all right? Now you're struggling to survive. You're struggling, you're down in the water trying to get up, and you're struggling to survive. That's what, for me, that's what I look at a cancer survivor. Is someone who hasn't really conquered it yet. Someone who is more focused on, and it's industry driven, to be a survivor, because there is no cure. I'm not against all that, but I don't like calling myself a survivor. I think I did a TV interview and they referred to me as a survivor, and after the interview was over, I realized that I just don't like to go by that. I'd rather go by life thriver, and there's a difference between the two, and it starts in the mind. Is the way you perceive things. And like I said before, it's like a survivor for me is somebody who's struggling, like they fell through the ice, or they fell, or something bad happened and you're struggling through it. You haven't conquered it yet. And I believe the difference between the two is sometimes the way I look at it, from my experience, the difference for me and why I call myself a life thriver is because I choose to live my life to the fullest. From the day I got diagnosed with non-Hodgkins lymphoma, I didn't give up on myself. I took advantage of every situation and turned it around in my favor, not knowing it. The difference is, I looked at it, for other cancer survivors, is they just go through the motions and let the system dictate to them. Whatever this doctor says, whatever this doctor says, whatever this person says. Oh, does diet affect it? No. Does stress affect it? No. That's the conventional route. And that whole stigma behind survivor comes from the conventional way of thinking when it comes to a diagnosis. I didn't want to fall under any of that. So when I look at myself, I look at a life thriver because I'm living my life to the fullest. The difference between the two is what I've learned is that I educate myself. You ask me about things. I don't need my doctor to go read my scans. I don't need my doctor to go read my blood work. I don't need my doctor to tell me to change my diet. All of those are life thrivers, because a life thriver is living their life to the fullest every day. A life thriver gets up like I do. I can only speak from my experience. I get up early in the morning and I work out. Today, I'm back on my bike 12 miles a day, sprinting. Not going slow motion. I mean, I am all in. Then came back and did some rebounding. And I do this, why? Because this faux cancer, if I can't let my foot off the gas pedal. I always want to stay in the green, and I have to keep my foot on the gas pedal because there's no second chances. Versus a cancer survivor with the mentality waiting for the doctor or go to a consultation and you don't have your medical records. That's the difference between winning and losing. All right, is what a life thriver has their medical records. They already have an outline of the questions they want to ask. What kind of chemotherapy are you going to give me? What's the survival rate? How long? What's the outcome? How many people had this type of chemotherapy? These are all questions that a life thriver would ask. A cancer survivor? No. They'd rather let the system dictate to them instead of them coming on board and dictating to the system. Because this is your body. You're making the decision. A life thriver is somebody who, I believe, becomes the CEO of saving their own life. You're not looking for somebody else to save your life, because I said in other videos, doctors are trained to treat the disease. You're not looking for somebody to treat the disease. You're looking for somebody who can give you real hope and let your body heal on itself. Somebody who can trigger that immune system to click on. And I'm not naive to think that naturopath medicine will work for everybody. But I do believe in a spirit, soul, and body concept. That's why I tell people that I'm continuing to heal. Because the juicing part in my walk was easy. Taking say that's easy. Dealing with what's in here, the hidden things, the deep things that are in here, dealing with things that are up here, the way I think, totally different. But a life thriver chooses to tackle those no matter what. I didn't look how big cancer was. I didn't look at that. I looked at how strong my faith was and what I had to play with, and I hired and fired the doctors that were going to be on my team. That's the difference between winning and losing, is that a cancer survivor falls into the notion of letting the system and getting caught up in the system and caught up in not studying for themselves, not reading up on the damage the chemotherapy can do to your immune system. All right, and chances are, if you got a cancer diagnosis, chances are you have a weak immune system. Why would you stick a chemical into your body that's going to make it even more, and then deal with somebody that doesn't know how to rebuild it for you? Can't tell you because they haven't studied that. They don't know how to do it. Because it's going to come through three things: spirit, soul, and body. That's what's going to heal you. Not the man in the white jacket, not the nurses, not everything. It's between you and your immune system. And I believe they're both stressful, but I believe the way I look at it is, like I said, I train like an athlete. My mind is so focused on, it was so focused on healing. I did everything to the T, and in my case, it worked. And I thank God for it. And I don't sit down and wait. As a life thriver, I'm making decisions and making calls in my life. Even to this day, every day that I approach is a blessing for me. It's something new. It's something that I thank God for every day. Versus that you're dealing with the cancer survivor mentality, is you're sitting there waiting for something to happen. When full control is all up to you. It's not the guy in the white jacket. It's not your doctor. It's not the team of nurses. It all boils down to you. And when you start renewing the mind, and you start getting the perception of how fearfully and wonderfully you're made, how powerful you are, and the power that your body has to heal itself, you start to realize and start making drastic changes to be a life thriver. A life thriver, despite my cancer diagnosis, I did not look at myself as a survivor, and I still don't consider myself a survivor. They may, when I do speaking engagements or something like that, they call me that. I haven't called it out yet, but I'm really not. I don't consider myself. I consider myself a life thriver, and that's the difference. A cancer survivor waits for things to come, not taking control of the situation, not studying, not really focusing on the cancer, but really focusing. They get a cancer diagnosis, they look at it, not focusing on how the body heals. That's the difference between the two. It's all in the mindset and how you live your life. Because meditation, prayer, separating yourself, eating the right diet, gallons of juice, taking your supplements, and rest. These are things, a combination. It just wasn't one thing that I did and I continue to do every day. I mean, I don't like waking up at 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym. I just started working out again. And I do double sessions now. For me, I'm working myself towards doing some other things. And I like being fit and healthy. I like living, really. And I've noticed that when I deal with people who are struggling with it, they haven't taken control of the situation. They haven't learned how to conquer and dominate. They're waiting because they're so afraid, and fear sets in. And when fear sets in, that's a whole different ballgame, because when fear sets in, your cortisol levels start to rise. You start to get stressed and anxious. And I know what it's like. It's nervous to go get a PET scan. I know what it's like to go through all these tests. The difference is that I noticed when I got my medical records, like I tell everybody, that's the game changer. When you read them yourself, you're focusing on them yourself, you're not worried about, you're preparing yourself for what your doctor's going to tell you or what you're going to tell your doctor. And these are decisions that I make between a life thriver and a cancer survivor. Two totally different mindsets, two totally different ways to look at it. So when people ask me what I think about, or am I a cancer survivor? No, I don't consider myself a cancer survivor. I consider myself a life thriver. And I consider myself living my life to the fullest on everything that I attempt to do now. And I want to thank you. It's going to be a quick video, a short video. God bless you guys. And remember, you're alive, but are you really living the life that you want to live? God bless you and take care.